Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hope you're well, inshallah. As you can see on the title of the video, we're going to be answering some questions that you guys have asked on my Instagram. I'm going to give my response to it, and inshallah some benefit that you guys can take on board. The first question that we have is, how can I build my strength with a bar? Now obviously a bar is يدل على calisthenics bar. And quite simply, if you to build strength on a bar, you'd have to obviously focus on the fundamentals of what that bar can do, okay? Because obviously now we're referring calisthenics to this bar. So as I said, you'd have to understand the fundamentals of calisthenics, understand what these exercises can do, be sure that you're doing it with form, okay? The best way to, or the only way to build strength with calisthenics is if you have correct form, full range of motion, okay? And you're doing everything with taq. Don't just or try to start calisthenics and you don't know what you're doing, or you don't have the correct form, which is something personally that I didn't really start off with for a long time. When I first started my journey in calisthenics, obviously I didn't know these intricate details of how to build strength, what's endurance. All these new terms has come to me recently because I understood the importance of it to develop myself in terms of a calisthenics athlete. So what I say, Akhi, is just understand the fundamentals, understand how to do things properly, and inshallah you'll be able to build sufficient strength with calisthenics. Also, I want to just define two things. When it comes to calisthenics, there's two types of, you could say, muscle building. There's strength and there's endurance, okay? Strength training basically entails that you do basically low amount of reps with low amount of sets, okay? And rest time. This is going to eventually build hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is basically muscle growth, right? Fast muscle growth. So when it comes to wanting to build strength with calisthenics, you'd want to focus on low amount of reps, for example, between perhaps 7 to 10 reps per set, okay, with a low amount of rest time. Now let's take the opposite. Endurance is basically doing as many reps as you can in a specific amount of time, okay? So for example, when it comes to endurance, we're going to want to do more reps, okay, more reps, but in a specific amount of time. And there's different various forms. For example, we have EMOM training, which is every minute on the minute, where you time yourself. You do something, you do, for example, pull-ups in 1 minute, and then you take your rest on the same minute. So you are aiming to do 5 pull-ups in 1 minute, you do the 5 pull-ups, you take a rest for about 30 seconds, and when that minute finishes, you go back and you do it again. So this is very, very intense endurance training. That is something that you can do down the line, but not right now. For you to do that, you need the strength. So focus on the fundamentals, focus on this type of training, and inshallah you'll get the strength that you need. The second question is tips to stay motivated. Hello, Jamil. The biggest tip that I'd give you, Akhi, to stay motivated is I'd say don't rely on motivation, because motivation is very short term. I realize this the hard way. Yes, you can get motivated by watching a quick video of someone doing push-ups. You'll be motivated, but ask yourself the question, how long is this going to last for? Ask yourself the question, how long is this going to benefit me for? Because if it's a short period of time, then it's really, really not beneficial, right? So I'd say I'd give tips for discipline, because that's more of what you want to look at, right? Rather than motivation. I say tips for discipline, bro, is understanding the value of what you're doing. Understanding the value of what is the outcome of what I'm doing. Because by doing so, you will take it more seriously. You will take it more to heart, because you understand that if I actually succeed at this, I'm going to contribute to a very good cause for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? And as we all know, every single thing that we do is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So keep your intentions in check and understand why you're doing this. What's the outcome? How is this going to benefit me? What's the reward look like, right? Because, for example, for me, very discipline is because I understand if I really take this seriously and I do this consistently, then the results is beautiful. The results is rewarding. And it's a spillover effect from me to others. Therefore, I want it to be for others as well, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the biggest tip I say for that is just understanding what is the outcome and how valuable that is. Third question is best way to recover. This is a very common question with a lot of people. In terms of recovery, ya jama'ah, this is the most simple answer that you're ever gonna get, and that is just to sleep. Sleep is the best way to recover. Now obviously there's other forms of recovery targeting other various parts of the body, okay? But the best way to recover after a heavy session, whether it's calisthenics or gym, is to literally sleep. You have to listen. Recovery is the biggest reason for you to gain muscle. Recovery is the biggest asset for you to improve in your training. if you don't recover accordingly and properly, you're going to put yourself in jeopardy in terms of injury. You're going to put yourself in jeopardy in terms of not doing the session accordingly. Okay, so you need to recover the best way possible, and that is sleep. Just sleep, bro. Give yourself the 7 hours that you should give, and don't overburden your body. Don't overburden your body, okay? Just because you're motivated or you're disciplined does not mean that you train every single day. Because at the end of the day, your body can only do so much, okay? You don't want to tire this precious amount that Allah has given you by putting it under pressure every single time, because it's not going to work with you. You have to take care of the thing that's going to take care of you. So remember that. Okay, now we're gonna change the style of questions. How do you prepare for your akhirah? Very deep question. I think the biggest thing I'd say for that, how do I prepare for my akhirah, is just doing the things that please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, quite simply. I don't want to get too detailed with it, but how do I prepare for my akhirah? Is just doing the things that Allah has obliged me to do and more, which is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, praying my sunnah rawatib, doing a lot of voluntary deeds. This will allow me and help me, inshallah, to, bi'inillah ta'ala, help me in my akhirah, inshallah. But the biggest nasiha is, just do the minimal deeds, minimal things, right? Which is the salah, this is obliged, this is fard alayk, okay? Your zakat, the 5 pillars of Islam, and bi'inillah ta'ala, you will succeed, inshallah, in the dunya and the akhirah. So the next question is, honestly speaking, do Libyans marry outside of their culture, non-Arabs, or is that rare? Okay. To be honest, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't really know much about this because I just don't have enough knowledge in this regard. But there is a lot of Libyans that do marry outside the culture. It is something that's very prevalent. But I don't know. Allah samahi, I don't know. If there is, Allahumma barik, if there isn't, then Allah mashafah. So next question, what are your views on hijrah and what country would you like to move? Very good question. As someone that's here living in the West, your destination will not be the West. You'd want to move and go to a different country because, majority of the viewers are probably living from the West. So you wouldn't want to stay here for an extended period of time, even though I do see the West as a place for you to give da'wah to non-Muslims. You're getting more ajr. You're going through a more difficult time, and therefore you're going to get rewarded for that. So in a way, living in the West is a good thing, but long term you'd eventually want to leave and actually go to a different country, preferably a Muslim country, right? So yes, hijrah is on the mind, just a few things to sort out, for example college and so on and so forth. But for in terms of the country that I would like to move to, there's a lot of options. Like I can say one country, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has me planned for another country. But upon a lot of reviews and a lot of people that come up to me and from experience, they say that Qatar is a very good country. Qatar is a very nice, stable country, and you'll be able to establish the things that you want in a very simplistic manner, without any taxes, as get drilled here in Ireland. But I think Qatar might be a destination on the mind. But other than that, as I said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has had this plan before I was even born. So I can say Qatar and I can end myself, in Morocco or Algeria or wherever the case is, right? Next question. A very good one as well. Biggest life lesson that I've learned from my mother and father. I start off with my father. The biggest thing that I've learned from my father is having good akhlaq, good character, being able to show yourself in a very professional manner. And alhamdulillah, may Allah bless my father, but he's a man of academia. He keeps on seeking knowledge. He's a man of good character and a good presence in front of people, right? So I've learned akhlaq, having good manners, and also appreciation. My dad likes to appreciate people a lot, even for simple work, even a small thing. He'd give them appreciation, and he understands the concept. Man la yashkur al-nas la yashkur Allah. Whoever does not thank the people does not thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So him having that in his mind and always giving people the shukr that they deserve, for them to continue doing khair, right? There's one thing giving shukr for one thing, for a good thing or a bad thing, right? So giving shukr or thanks to something that's good will allow that person to keep on doing that good, and he will be encouraged by himself, inshallah, for him to continue being that. So that's my father. In terms of my mother, I think the biggest life lesson that I've learned from the mother is just patience. Your mother carried you for 9 months, right? I think that by itself is a very, very big lesson, and the fact that they still strive to keep on doing good for you, despite what, you know, or where they came from, okay? And we all know we can never ever pay our parents back, especially the mother, we can't, okay? So I've learned patience through my mother. I've also learned how to accept reality. My grandfather, rahmatullah alayhi, he has passed about 4 years ago, and my mom heard this news when she was here in Ireland, and my grandfather was in Libya. So it's a very different experience, by the way, for you to experience this here and your grandfather is over there, right? Her dad is over there. So what I've learned from that scenario is the way she accepted it, and she accepted the reality. You can't do anything. You can't change inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. That's there. That's thabit, right? So once you accept something, you tackle it in a more better and high iman manner. I learned that from my mother, of just accepting things, accepting the reality, and just swallowing it and just moving forward. The next question, and we leave the best for last, is so what date is your wedding? Okay, very good question. How do I answer this? Allahu a'lam. Okay, I'm gonna do my part to strive, and اللي بيجي بيجي ولكن الله أعلم. Where I don't want to get too taken in marriage, because if I do, then that's a whole other video, 45 minutes plus. خير إن شاء الله. على كل that was the video. جزاكم الله ألف خير for your question. Look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Assalamu alaikum.